And they're off. A step slow away was Nakada King, also not that fast away, the filly Peerless Spirit. Alertly away, however, was Ups and Downs, and Ups and Downs is keen against the inside rail and has the early lead. Being given chase by Alderman around the outside, and towards the inner is Alcawanij. Then the two runners for Godolphin. Nakada King making up for his slow beginning, and he's now pulled his way into 4th place, and he's just gone by his stablemate Nation's Hope, who now races in 5th position. October Sunrise is in 6th against the rail. On that one's outside is Engross. Next towards the inside is Leighton. After Leighton, the star jacket of 3 Socks Down, who races around the outside of runners and about a length and a half in advance of Brave Leader. After Brave Leader, there's a further length and a half back to Roman Quest, and the one who's been driven at the back of the field is Peerless Spirit, who's in danger of getting tailed off. 3.5 furlongs to go. Alcawanij moves through on the inside rail and now has the lead over Alderman, who raced in 2nd as they make the turn in. Ups and Downs still there towards the outside against the rail is Nakada King, and then being asked to make an effort down the wide outside is Nation's Hope. That group of 5 now have pulled a little clear of Engross, who's got an awkward head carriage, then Leighton towards the inside, and next is October Sunrise, and now they've got a furlong and a half to go. Godolphin now a 1 and 2. Nation's Hope is the one who's quickened the best and now begins to quicken clear, and it is Nation's Hope and James Doyle pulling clear of the field, racing up towards the line. A winning debut for Nation's Hope. It will be a 1-2 for Godolphin, as Nakada King was 2nd, Alderman was 3rd, and then with late gain down the outside, Brave Leader stayed on past many rivals in the home straight. Leighton was next to the inside.
That was hugely impressive for Nation's Hope, who wins on debut and wins by some distance. Back to Nakada King in 2nd, so a 1-2 for Charlie Appleby and Godolphin. In 3rd was the once race before this, Alderman. Had a decent position from the outset, but couldn't quicken anything like the winner, Nation's Hope, who's done that so nicely. He looked like a really stunning physical in the parade ring, and he's won in the style of a very good horse. The 2-to-1 joint favourites, ridden by James Doyle, has proven too strong. Son of Ghiayyath and a half-brother to Nation's Pride. It's there in the pedigree, Martin. It certainly looks like it's there on track too.
Yeah, he looked special on paper, didn't he? He looked great in the paddock and very relaxed going to post, and he's absolutely stole this race. He's so good. I think he's a smart prospect. Just got shuffled back a little bit there out of a good forward position when Danny Muscat kicked up his inside, but then James Doyle in the white cap, always in the perfect position, and it was just so easy for him. I think there's some nice types in this. Certainly the first 3 look pretty decent. I'm sure Charlie Apple will be delighted with that, and indeed the runner-up, Nakada King, he's ran an absolute blinder too.
Well, he was quite keen in the early part of the race, and we both thought in the parade ring that he's got that big frame. He was a taller sort than his stablemate. Next year, the year after, is going to be probably seeing him at his best. So to run 2nd on debut, having done that wrong in the race itself, I think was hugely encouraging.
Yeah, exactly. And Nakada King, he was a little bit, they were bumping about a bit early on, trying to get a good position, a few of the jockeys, and then they settled down and end up where they are. And yeah, Dougie's horse, Nakada King, he just latched on a little bit when he got a bump, but then he settled, and Dougie gave him time to warm up to his task, and he finished out the race really well. And you can see Alderman, he's took a big step forward from his race at Sandown in the Julie Wood colours, and he's hits the front now, going really nicely. Sean Levy working through the gears. He's a lovely horse, but your eye is drawn to the white cap and the royal blue silks Godolphin. Look at that change of gear. He's got to the front from 3rd place so quickly. Look how much ground he covers. What a lovely horse. It's impressive.
He's a different physical to Opera Ballo, but he reminds me of that horse winning on debut in the same colours. Wasn't that long ago, of course, and they've obviously brought some pretty nice horses to the table here in the past at Kempton. Have the Charlie Appleby team, and this looks like the latest of a conveyor belt that seems to be never stopping. This time, Ghiayyath has proved much too strong. Nation's Hope, and Angus, I think, could be a pretty smart one.
I think he probably is, yeah. He's quickened up really well. The data's very positive about him. Finishing speed percentage 109.86. Runner-up was 106.95, so he's way quicker than the runner-up. And he's shown a fine turn of foot, 11.25, 11.53, his final 2 furlongs. Impressive, Steve?
It was impressive, yeah. Here you'd say that the stablemate Nakada King is going equally as well. That rival basically bounced back from just being slowly away, but the eye was always drawn to Nation's Hope on the outside, and it's here that it's really impressive. Like you touch on, 7th furlong, 11.25. Last furlong, 11.53. Finishing speed percentage of 109%, and it is. You really like these debutants to travel well into their races, but when they're asked to quicken, they really do. And James Doyle, just under hands and heels, it was an impressive performance.
It was, yeah. Godolphin was second as well. Charlie Appleby was second with Nakada King, who fluffed the start. He's run pretty well on debut.
Yeah, had fluffed the start, but actually got into quite a nice prominent position and arguably had the box seat. It's a slight surprise that we haven't seen him earlier. Cost $200,000 as a yearling. Is a half-brother to Ready to Perform, who won his first 2 starts at 2 and won a Grade 2 in the US at 3. So had a real kind of 2-year-old's pedigree, but obviously is a back-end one. But Nation's Hope is impressive and could well be bound for greater things next year.
Indeed, Alderman was third. He had a good track position. He wasn't far off the pace early on. The pace wasn't furious, but he's been readily swept aside by this impressive winner, Nation's Hope. We should touch on the John Gosden runner, Leighton. Didn't show a right lot.
No, was slowly away, was niggled early and made a bit of headway late on. But yeah, it didn't particularly enthuse me. The lads were fairly negative on him in the parade ring as well. They were
indeed, yeah. So well done to them. Nation's Hope has won and done so impressively. 2-1 joint favourite, Nakada King 11-1, Alderman third 3-1, 5 lengths was the winning margin. Leighton was the other joint favourite and finished 5th in the end, 1:39.96 the time. 2.66 above the Racing Post standard, quicker than Valentine Boy, as you might expect, really, although we are dealing with a 2-year-old versus a 3-year-old. Let's hear from the winning jockey. I'm sure he's impressed. James Doyle.
Nation's Hope makes a winning debut for this man alongside me, James Doyle, and for Godolphin. James, Martha and I were hugely taken by that. How did he feel to you?
Yeah, I was very pleased with him. I thought he did well on debut. He kind of broke nicely, and we got that nice trailing position where we could teach him a little bit in behind horses. And once we got into the straight, I popped him out, and he showed a really nice turn of foot and galloped out strongly. So it's everything you'd like to see in a newcomer.
Absolutely, and just in the early part of the race, a touch of greenness, but nothing really to get too worried about. And as soon as you really let him down, he travelled so strongly into it. And then when you asked him the question, it was emphatic, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was learning on the job, and yeah, like I say, everything you'd like to see in a potentially smart horse.
He's a proper physical as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good type. Yeah, he's obviously well bred. His brother, obviously, wore these colours and did a good job. So hopefully he can go on to emulate what he's done.
You got Hard Endeavour in the next race. That looks like he's got a pretty good chance of getting off the mark.
Yeah, horse. Obviously, I only know as much as what you guys know, looking at his first couple of races. But I thought they came out of decent contests. There's been plenty of decent horses come from those two events, and it looks a good opportunity for him, doesn't it? But obviously, first run back after a long layoff.
And finally, West Wind Blows in the feature race later on. Just nice to see him back.
Yeah, exactly. Long time off the track. Obviously, a very smart horse. Looks a nice renewal of the race. But if he's on his A game, he could take a bit of beating if he runs up to what he's done in the past. Yeah.
Well done so far.
Thanks.
Thanks, James.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.